NFL Week 4 is here. Let's freaking go! What's going on, everyone? Welcome back in to another episode for Just a Bet Outside. I am your host, Steven, and it's that time, baby. I love these videos. We are getting ready for Week 4, and we got all the info you need. I can't believe it's already week 4. Time is flying. It feels like the season just started, but we are off and rolling. Couple reminders real quick. NFL player props video usually comes out around middle of the night, Friday our time. It's actually going to come out Saturday morning, just a touch later, around, I don't know, 9:30, 10 a.m. our time on Saturday. Just letting you know. Not much later, but just wanted to point that out. No long baseball video for Thursday's games. We're doing too much football all day and night, late into the night. So we will have another baseball video for Friday, our last one of the regular season, and then we got videos for the playoffs. We are excited for that. So, one more reminder for the NFL Week 4, we have a game in London. This Falcons at the Jaguars. At the Jaguars. It's pretty much a Jaguars home game because they play there every year. But that game starts early. It's like 6:30 a.m. my time. I think 9:30 a.m. Eastern. So just want to remind you, if you do have any bets in that game, to get those in early. So we got a big show for you. I am jacked up. I'm going to get that head-to-head bet win with Ryan. I know I am. Ryan's going to be on. He's going to give us a couple bets. I got some bets. We got a Thursday night football preview. The NFL Week 4 trends. You know I love some trends, and if you followed those, you went 8-6 in Week 3 and 9-4 in Week 2 on the individual team trends. That's right. We're going to preview the Lions and Packers, get into best bets, go over that head-to-head bet where I am going to get my first victory. That's right. So before we start in, smash that like button, hit subscribe if you are new to the channel. We are chasing our first 7,000 subscribers. Thank you guys so incredibly much. It's freaking awesome. This is a lot of fun. So here we go. Let's start out with those Week 4 trends. All right, let's go, guys. This is my favorite part right here, the NFL Week 4 trends, baby. That's right. Like I said, 17-10 in the last 2 weeks if you just blindly tailed these. But I don't recommend blindly tailing. It's only a part of the handicap, not the entire part. So here we go. Lions 10-0 against the spread last 10 divisional games, and 10-2 against the spread the last 12 versus the Packers. That's crazy. They have absolutely owned divisional games and owned the Packers. That's for sure. Although it is against the spread, doesn't mean they won straight up. But Falcons under in 5 straight road games. The Bears and Broncos game. Bears gone over in 11 of the last 14. Broncos gone over in 7 of their last 8. What a game that is, huh? 49ers 13-2 against the spread the last 15 home games. Ravens 19-3-1 in their last 23 games as an underdog. That is absolutely insane. That's against the spread. 15 of the last 21 Bills games gone over the first quarter. I don't know if there's anyone out there that likes to bet first quarter, first half, fourth quarter, whatever it is, just a different angle at a Bills game. Texans awful in the last 17 home games. Not sure how much that matters now that they have an actual quarterback who actually looks pretty dang good, too. Titans games gone under the fourth quarter total in 18 of the last 20. I know it's a fourth quarter total and it's weird to just bet a fourth quarter, but that's insane. 18 of 20, 90%. That's crazy. Let's check out page 2. And there we go. Saints gone under in 11 of the last 12 games, and 9 haven't even gone over 33 points. And the 2 games between New Orleans and Tampa Bay last year, 30 and 33 points total. So I think that totals around 40 and a half, 41 this weekend. Rams 21-13-4 against the spread after a loss under McVay. And then Jets, they've gone under in 7 of the last 8 games, probably because it's Zach Wilson at quarterback and he's awful. We know the Saints, they keep popping up and they keep hitting it. Saints have gone under in 12 of the last 13 games, which goes with the other under we just talked about with their game. Eagles scored first in 19 of the last 23. I'm pretty sure we've been doing that every single week too, and they keep hitting. They have hit in all 3 games this year if you want to bet for the Eagles to score first. Niners won 11 of their last 16 home games by 15 or more points. Absolute domination. The Cowboys are 9-1 against the spread after a loss since the start of 2021, and they are obviously coming off a beatdown of the Cardinals. And then the last one, the under is 16-4-2 in the Giants' last 22 home games, and they are at home playing my Seattle Seahawks on Monday Night Football. So those are the Week 4 NFL trends. Now, who wants some free money? All right, guys, Thrive Fantasy is giving you 100% first deposit match up to $250. You cannot pass this up. They are having NFL contests go all week long, every weekend. And right now, the free square for Thursday Night Football is Jared Goff over a half a passing yard. They are literally giving you free money plus giving you one of your 2 or 3 or 4 legs of your parlay. You ever do a parlay and you just hit two of the 3 legs or one of the 2? Now you only have to hit some of it because they are giving you one of the legs. It's literally free, guys. Now, all you have to do is use that promo code JABO to get that 100% first deposit match up to 250, or hit the link below. And there it is, guys. 2 out of 2 correct. You get 3.2 times your money. 3 out of 3, 5.2 times. And they're already giving you one of the legs of the parlay. It's a great deal. It is eligible in over 30 states. So if you are in one of those states, go sign up. It's awesome. Go win some money this football season. Let me know how you're doing, and let's just absolutely crush it this year. That's right. And I got some NFL player props coming later this week that you could add to some of these free squares they're giving out on Sunday too. So that's Thrive Fantasy. Now let's talk some best and worst pressure defenses. Okay, I changed it up a little bit this weekend, and I wanted to give you some different stats because this is one of those stats that I think is super important when you're handicapping a game. Obviously, you have to see who the old line is and how that quarterback is under pressure and all these kind of things. But these are the top 10 teams with the highest pressure percentage as a defense through week 3. Pressure percentage, as you see below, it is quarterback pressures, which is hurries plus knockdowns plus sacks per drop back by a quarterback. So I think this is huge because this kind of tells you who the good defenses are, because this is literally what drives a good defense, in my opinion. Cleveland Browns are absolutely ridiculous on defense, and we will be talking about that later. But 32.3% pressure percentage, that's insane. Jim Schwartz and that defense are just moving. Myles Garrett is a defensive player of the year candidate already, right at the top. Eagles, Steelers getting a lot of pressure. Buffalo Bills, Falcons, surprisingly, a big improvement. They've had 29.1% pressure. We all know the Cowboys, they did drop a little bit because they didn't do very well last week. Patriots, Packers, Niners, Lions. I mean, you don't usually see any high pressure teams, percentage teams that are terrible defenses. So most of these are pretty solid. Now let's take a look at the bottom 10 and the lowest pressure percentage as a defense. If you look at these, you're going to say, oh, yeah, all these defenses suck. Well, guess what? It's because they have low pressure percentage. Now, all of them don't actually suck. The Titans do suck against the pass, but they're good against the run. Bengals are not a bad defense. Not great, but the Seahawks, Raiders, and Broncos to end it with the Bears and Giants over there, my goodness, guys, those are 5 bad defenses, and they're all getting 16.7% pressure or less. Commanders, surprising 19.1. They just did not get much pressure last week. Their strength is supposed to be that D line and Chase Young, but been a little hit and miss. But they do have the talent, that's for sure. And then Ravens in there, and the Minnesota Vikings, not a surprise at all. They haven't got pressure on quarterbacks in probably a few years now. So, anyways, I thought that was interesting. Hopefully that helps you guys out just to give you another piece of the puzzle when you're betting games and things like that, or maybe even fantasy or something like that. So that's what we got. That is the best and worst pressure teams as a defense. And now it's time for the Thursday Night Football preview. All right, the Thursday Night Football game this week is the Green Bay Packers hosting the Detroit Lions in an NFC North clash. That is right. We got the Lions right now at -1.5 with an over/under of 46 points. That's right. So Lions just absolutely dismantled the Atlanta Falcons, out-yarding them 358 to 183. And then the Packers last week needed a miracle comeback to beat New Orleans by 1. And by miracle, I mean Derek Carr had to leave, and Group A, the guy I had a player prop on, missed a game-winning field goal. But you know what? They came back and they won. So Lions, like I said earlier, 10-2 against the spread versus Green Bay in the last 12. Pretty impressive. Offense, 7th in passing yards, 11th in rushing. I mean, they're a balanced offense. It's good to see. That's kind of what they've been last year and this year. Their defense, they're 5th in rush yards allowed. They are really shutting down the run compared to last year, and 19th in passing yards allowed. I think that will improve if this pass rush can get to the quarterback like they did last week. Holy cow, they had a lot of sacks. Packers offense, 18th in pass yards and 23rd in rush yards. Kind of balanced, but in not a good way. I mean, their offense just has not been very good. Their third down percentage is 5th in the league right now. I don't think it's very sustainable when I watch them play. We'll see, but that's kind of what they've been hanging their hat on, is converting on third downs. Defense, 10th in passing yards allowed and 27th in rushing yards allowed. It could be a long day for them. Jahmyr Gibbs has an opportunity to have a good game this one. Injuries, the Packers are just torn up, and it's not good on a short week. Jair Alexander questionable, their best DB by far. 2 starting linemen have already been ruled out the last I saw. And then Christian Watson and Aaron Jones are both questionable. It does look like Watson is going to play, but no word on Jones yet. Lions, a little banged up. David Montgomery is questionable. Taylor Decker, their left tackle, is questionable, but still nothing compared to what the Packers are missing. So it'd be kind of weird if they played all those guys when they have 10 days of rest after the Thursday night game, but That's the injury report. Those are some stats on the game. But let's go to that bet, baby. That's right. My bet is straightforward. No player prop. I am going to give you a lean for a player prop because I do have a lean that almost made the card, but I'm going to stick with one bet this game, and it's simple. It is the Lions money line at minus 120 on FanDuel. That's it. The Lions to win. I know they're favored by about 1.5. When you get minus 120 on a money line, you don't mess with that because minus 1.5, you win by one, you're going to be just pissed. And so here we go. I don't believe in Jordan Love. This may not be a popular opinion. I just don't believe in him. Listen to this. He is 33rd in the NFL in completion percentage. There's only 32 teams. He is 33rd at 53.1%. It's just been absolutely awful. And by the way, Jared Goff is 6th in the league at 69.9%. Two of those three games, by the way, when he's not completing passes, were against Atlanta and Chicago. Not exactly the greatest defenses out there. And then the Packers, they played 12 quarters already this year. 5 of those 12, they've scored 0 points. Almost half the quarters that they played, they scored 0. It's just crazy. They could easily be 1-2 right now. Like I already mentioned, needed Derek Carr to get hurt, missed field goal, all that. But hey, you know what? They pulled out the win, so it was a good fourth quarter comeback. And we already talked about injuries, but Lions, I just love to see that pass rush. I think they had 7 sacks on Desmond Ridder last week, and when they have that pass rush going, this can be a pretty good defense. I just expect them to dominate in the trenches. Their O line is legit, and I don't think the Packers D line is going to get a ton of pressure on Jared Goff. And I just think overall, it's the better quarterback. The better team in the trenches is the Lions, and they have better weapons all around. I think Jahmyr Gibbs is a stud. Amon-Ra St. Brown is back. He looked good last week, even though it looked like he was hobbled. And or at least we thought he was going to be hobbled, but he looked good. So I just think everything points to Detroit. It's a short number, minus 120, to just beat the Packers. I think everyone's a little bit too high on the Packers still. But they might be okay, but when Jordan Love has to win a game, I know last week they did win a game in the fourth quarter, but they needed some help, that's for sure. So I like the Lions money line. I don't care that it's on the road. They already won on the road this year. They can do it again. So give me the Lions money line as my best bet. And my lean for this game is Luke Musgrave, the tight end for the Packers. Over, I think it's 36.5 receiving yards last I saw it on DraftKings. Lions, the one thing they don't do is cover the tight end very well. They've given up the most yards to the tight end. Musgrave's already gone over this in 2 of the 3 games. The one game he didn't was the one I bet him. He had 25 in the first half and then never again got another one. So, but I think he has a big game. He had a ton of yards last week. I think it was over 60 or something like that. So that's just a lean Musgrave over. Maybe a Jahmyr Gibbs anytime touchdown, something like that. So just a couple leans, but my best bet is that Lions money line, baby. All right, that is the Thursday Night Football preview and best bet. And now it is time for the Week 4 best bets. All right, bet number 1 takes us out to Cleveland, Ohio. We got the Brownies hosting the Ravens in an AFC North battle. That's right, Brownies -3, and we got an over-under of a low 40.5 points. And it's low for a reason, guys. My best bet in this game is the Ravens. Team total under 19.5 at -104 on FanDuel. This Browns defense has been ridiculously good. They have the number 1 quarterback pressure rate. We already saw that. Myles Garrett's like a defensive player of the year candidate. Every play you watch, he's literally in the backfield, it seems like. This Browns team giving up 3.2 yards per play, first in the league. They've only given up 19 offensive points in the first 3 games combined. 19. So all 3 of their opponents combined have under this 19.5 total already. That's how good they've been. They gave up 2. There's 2 defensive touchdowns by the Steelers. In case you're looking at the scoreboard and you see, well, no, they had more points. That's why. In the 6 red zone trips that their opponents have had, that's right, 6 times in the red zone, the opponents have only had 3 total points out of that. 3. That's a field goal, by the way. Their stats: yards allowed in the league, first; pass yards allowed, first; rush yards allowed, second; points per game, first; third down percentage, first. That's right. When it is third down, they get the heck off the field and let their offense take the field. It is absolutely impressive. 19.5%. Also, here's why I like this matchup. They are the number 1 defense right now versus tight ends. And why is that important? Lamar Jackson, this Ravens team, likes to lean on Mark Andrews. And this is going to be a tough matchup for him because the Browns know how to cover tight ends. Plus, getting to the quarterback also helps. So, Ravens offense, I haven't been that impressed when I watch them. They're 24th in passing yards at 190 passing yards per game. I've never really been impressed as Lamar Jackson as a passer, to be honest with you. I think he's trying to become more of a pocket passer instead of what he used to be, which was electric and running all over the field at the beginning of his career. But they just scored 19 versus the Colts in an overtime game. this Browns defense is better than Colts, guys. I do think the Colts have a nice young defense that's been pretty impressive so far, but this Browns defense is another animal. And I just think their O line might get killed. I did hear they might get one or two of their guys back on the offensive line, but I still think this Browns team takes control of this game. The Browns D line, and I'm just really impressed with what Jim Schwartz is doing and this Browns defense. So the full game I think probably goes under 40.5, but I'm just going to stick to the Ravens team total under 19.5 as my first best bet. Let's move on to game number 2. All right, game number 2 takes us out to Chicago. We got the Bears hosting the Broncos. Broncos minus 3.5, over under 45.5. Plug your nose. This is stinky as it can get. I'm not recommending you watch this game, but I am going to make a best bet on it, and I think we can still win some money. So my best bet in this game is the over 45.5 at minus 112 on DraftKings. I like this bet right when I saw the odds come out. The trends that I gave you earlier, it kind of just helped in that handicap, but not the reason I made it for sure. Bears over in 11 of the last 14. Broncos over in 7 of the last 8 games. These are two absolutely horrendous defenses, probably the two worst in the NFL. Bears are 31st in the league, giving up 35.3 points per game. That's a lot. They gave up 31 offensive points to the Green Bay Packers. That's a lot too. How about 30th in pass yards allowed? The Broncos have the 8th most pass yards on offense. So say what you want to say about the Broncos. They still have a lot of pass yards. They can move the ball through the air, and the Bears cannot stop it. Now, the Broncos defense, obviously dead last in points per game because they gave up 482 points to the Miami Dolphins last weekend. No, really 70 though. And then the week before that, this is what gets me. The 70, the game got out of hand. They were running the ball. It just got weird. It's still a terrible game, but 35 to the Commanders the week before, that game did not impress me. Their defense just absolutely blows. I'm not gonna lie. They can't get pressure on the quarterback. Everyone's wide open. It's just ugly. This is the same Washington team, by the way, that scored 20 versus Arizona and 3 last week versus Buffalo. Denver gave up 35 to them, and that was in Denver, by the way. Broncos defense, 32nd in rush yards allowed. Obviously, it doesn't help when you give up, again, a million yards to the Miami Dolphins running backs. They're also 29th in pass yards allowed to Sam Howell and Tua. Now, let's talk a little about the offenses, but mostly this is about how bad the defenses are, guys. When you got two of the worst defenses in the league, and the Broncos, who are a capable offense, and the Bears, who are an offense, I think we can get over this total. Now, Justin Fields a dream. Seriously, it's been like a Fields of nightmares for him this year. I think because of this Broncos D and just watching them try to stop the run and just how they play in general, I think Justin Fields can have a really good day if he uses his freaking legs. This should be a game where he gets 80 to 100 rushing yards if they want any chance at winning this game. I don't care if they win. I just want some points. But Broncos, like I said, they've been decent on offense, 23 points per game, and now they're facing maybe the worst defense in the entire NFL other than their own. I see this game being like a 27-24 kind of game, maybe 30-27. Both of those get us in the 50s and get us over the total. I think 45.5 is too low. I understand. I'm not sitting here and saying the Bears are just an unbelievable electric offense because they are not. They just need to do their part and score a decent amount of points. I think Denver will carry a little bit more of it. They just need to score a decent amount of points versus the worst defense in the league. That's right. That's all we need. That just gave up 105 combined to the Dolphins and the Commanders. That's all we're asking for. So give me the over 45.5 as my second best bet. Stinky as hell. Let's move on to game number 3. All right, my third and final bet before we kick it to Ryan is the game of the weekend. We go from Bears Broncos to this one. The Miami Dolphins at the Buffalo Bills. Bills minus 2.5, over under a 54 points. God help me, I'm fading the same team I faded last week that just made me look stupid. The Bills minus 2.5 is my best bet in this game at minus 115 on DraftKings. It was at 3 for a while there, and before we did this video, it dropped to 2.5 on DraftKings. I jumped on it, released it in the Discord earlier today. At 3, I still like it, but at 2.5, I love it. So this is the best bet. Tua, we all know the Dolphins are good, okay, on offense. Tua has struggled, though, against Buffalo. He's 1-3 versus them in his career. I'm not counting the game he got hurt, only had like 4 pass attempts. In 3 games in Buffalo, they are 0-3. Tua is 0-3, that's right. 73 for 127, completing over only 57.4% of his passes. Buffalo has his number. The Dolphins as a whole, not that this matters much because there's different teams way back in the day, but they have lost 9 of the last 10 in Buffalo, that's right. The only good defense the Dolphins have faced, okay? And I'm not going to say what we saw against Denver was like not impressive because it absolutely was. But the only good defense they faced is the New England Patriots. They were held to 24 points and won by a touchdown only because New England just absolutely sucks on offense and only scored 17. The Bills have obviously a lot more firepower. I think they're a better defense than the Patriots, and their offense is, night and day, not even close. They have plenty of weapons. Now, Tyreek Hill versus the Bills. The Bills have been pretty impressive versus Tyreek. In about 5 or 6 games, I think it was in his career, he has had averaged 5.6 catches for 45.2 yards a game. That's it. That's right. That's pretty crazy because he's been just an all-world athlete and receiver everywhere he's gone. I don't think he's ever hit 70 receiving yards versus Buffalo in his career. Last year, in the 2 games he was with Miami, he had 2 catches for 33 yards and 9 catches for 69 yards. That was as high as he's ever got against the Bills. So they've contained Tyreek Hill. They've contained Tua. I know that doesn't mean that's their only way of scoring, but those are the two studs, obviously. I think James Cook could have a big game on the ground for the Bills. I'm not impressed with this Dolphins defense that much. The run defense, I think if they face a good one like James Cook, they could get beat a little bit. I'm not saying the Dolphins are just horrendous against the run, but I just think Buffalo at home, they are going to be motivated. They still have people counting them out. They have put a couple beat downs in the last couple weeks, just like Miami did last week. I do understand that. But this is a step up in competition like none other for Tua and the Dolphins. They are fat and sassy and happy and whatever you want to call them from their 70-point victory or 70-point outburst last week. So give me the Bills -2.5. I know it may not be a popular bet. The public is all over the Miami Dolphins. I'm going to take the Bills -2.5 as my third and final best bet. Now, before we get into our head-to-head bet, let's kick it over to Ryan, who's got some winners for us this weekend after a 2-0 weekend last week.
What's up, everybody? I hope everybody's doing fantastic. Let's keep this roll a-going. 2-0 last week. Let's stay hot. Now, we're going to Indy where the Rams are taking on the Colts. Rams -1.5, over under 47.5 points. My best bet in this game is the Colts money line at -102. Let's talk about the Colts a little bit. Anthony Richardson, full participant in practice on Wednesday from concussion protocol. Looking most likely he's going to play against the Rams. Gardner Minshew's a decent backup, but Anthony Richardson is special. He can run, he can pass, kind of can do it all. The Colts offense this year, it's been pretty balanced. Zach Moss in the last 2 games has been over 4 yards per carry. As far as the receivers, Pittman, Downs, just everybody kind of stays involved in all those things. Now, the surprising thing with the Colts is their defense. Their defense is playing just not like unreal or anything, but not what you expected. Held the last 2 teams under 21 points, and this Rams team, man, they've just been struggling lately, it feels like. I know they've played some decent defenses and things like that, but Matthew Stafford, he's had a quarterback rating under 70 the last 2 games. That's no good. He's been getting pressure, getting hit. He got hit 10 times last week, got sacked 6 times. They're coming off of a Monday night away game. Now they're traveling again, so they're on short rest, and they got to play a Colts team that's fired up. The home crowd's going to be into it. Last week, the Colts defense also sacked the Ravens that they played last week. They sacked Lamar Jackson 4 times, so they've just been playing super well. Some other issues with the Rams, still no Cooper Kupp. Puka Nacua, hopefully I got his name right. He's been absolutely dominating the first 2 games. Third game, he's been kind of banged up and things like that. He was limited at practice. Tyler Higbee's been limited at practice. So I think it's just a bad spot for the Rams. 2 away games. Colts are looking hot, and they're the underdogs. Great line. We're going money line, -102 on the Colts. Let's go check out my next game. Houston is our next stop, where we got the Steelers playing the Texans. Pittsburgh Steelers -2.5, over under 42.5 points. My best bet in this game is going to be the over 42.5 points at -110. Now, let's talk about a little bit the defense. Both are struggling a little bit. The Steelers have given up 70 points. The Houston Texans have given up 73 points in 3 games. The Houston Texans, in the last 2 games alone, against the Colts, the total for the game was 51 points, which is well over the 42.5. And against the Jaguars, it was 54 points, even higher than the 42 by a significant margin. And a big reason of that, the Jaguars scored 37 points themselves. Now, this offense has kind of been rolling a little bit, and it's all because of C.J. Stroud. 2 touchdowns in each of his last 2 games with 0 picks in those 2 games. He gets pressure on him. The Texans don't do a great job at keeping the pass rush off of him, but he gets the ball out quick. He didn't take any sacks against the Jaguars, no, not even one. So he gets it out. He gets the ball out to Robert Woods, Dell, Collins, and they do their thing. They have to do that because the Texans running back is not doing so solid. They're struggling to run the football. Also, with the running, The Steelers have been struggling with running the football, so they're leaning on Kenny Pickett. Kenny Pickett in the last 2 games has been doing much better, making sure to get George Pickens involved. He's gone over 75 yards in each of the last 2 games. Pickett's had some couple big shots down the field and scored on some big plays. The other thing with the Steelers, though, yes, they're giving up points and the quarterbacks, but Jimmy Garoppolo, he threw for 324 yards against the Pittsburgh Steelers. So you think they're doing also all this greatness, and they are, but they're still giving up, like I said earlier, they're still giving up the points, they're still giving up the yards, and that's what we're looking for. We're trying to get points, we're trying to get yards. So if teams are pass these 2 teams, I think are going to pass the ball a little bit more than normal, just because they realize that's what's been working, because the run game for both is pretty much sucking. So that's going to keep the score moving up and keep the clock either stopped and making it so offenses can stay on the field and score. So that's my second best bet. We're going with the over 42.5 points at -110. Now, to my favorite part of the bets, because I am 3-0 against Steven, we're going to that head-to-head matchup.
Dun 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 dun. Here we go. It is head-to-head bet time. Yes, I am 3-0. I'm just giving him a little head start, but I will win this by the end of the year. I promise you that. Team Steven all the way. Here we go. I know you guys are ready for this. The head-to-head bet is an interesting game. Here we go. I have the San Francisco 49ers -14. He has the Arizona Cardinals +14. That's right. Ryan, do you want to go first on why you think the Cardinals cover the 14?
Sure, let's go. Let's go with it. It's a divisional game. Those typically and normally stay close. The Arizona Cardinals has played everybody close. They even beat the Cowboys last week when they were uh, big, huge underdogs, and they won convincingly, running the ball, passing the ball, doing everything they needed to. Joshua Dobbs is now in control of this offense. The team is backing him. He is confident. He runs the football. He throws with confidence. And just 14? Are you kidding me? 14 points, 2 touchdowns. Oh, blah 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 blah. Didn't I just beat you by 50? With this and
Okay,
the Dolphins, but whatever. 3-0, 50, whatever.
are you done? Listen,
Sure.
you're just getting caught up in one game. No one is as good as in one game or as bad as they are in one game. Like, it doesn't matter. They won a game against the Cowboys who looked horrendous. Okay, this 49ers team is on a whole nother planet. Joshua Dobbs is not an elite quarterback. Has he looked competitive and decent this year? Yes. Now they think they're good. Do not forget, people, this is a Cardinals team that still lost to the Giants and the Commanders this season. Just remember that. These are two teams. Those are two bad teams in the NFL. Commanders aren't terrible, but Giants do not look good. Here we go. Last year, they played twice because they're in the same division. The 49ers won by 25 and 28. Last year, different quarterback. I get it. Different head coach. Already mentioned, 49ers have won 11 of their last 16 home games by 15 or more points. They absolutely crush people. This 49ers team is just going to show the Cardinals who their daddy is. Joshua Dobbs and this Cardinals team is going to be humbled like a mother. That's right, humbled like a mother. I like the 49ers to win by more than 14 points. I think they put an absolute beatdown on this team that thinks they're legit now. That's just what I got for you guys. Leave a comment below. Team Steven or Team Ryan. I am 0-3, which just means I'm freaking due. I can't go 0-4. I just can't possibly go 0-4. And just a reminder, if you are tailing one side or the other, this doesn't mean this is our best bet of the entire weekend. We have to find a game that we're both on other sides for. And our best bets, obviously, we just gave out to you. But still, I like the 49ers -14. He's got the Cardinals +14. Let's freaking go, baby. That's right. Head to head, week 4 is here. All right, that's what we got for you. Let's go to that bets recap page. All right, there we go, guys. Our 6 best bets. We got the Lions money line on Thursday Night Football at -120. Ravens team total under 19.5 at -104. And then I got the over 45.5 in the stinkiest game of the week between the Broncos and the Bears. And then we finish it with the game of the week. Bills -2.5 on DraftKings. If you can only get it at 3, I like it, but I don't love it. That's for sure. I do like that 2.5 I'm getting. Then Ryan's bets. Let's see if we can follow up that 2-0 last week. Over 42.5 in the Steelers and Texans game. And then the Colts money line at -102. And probably the most important to our egos, the week 4 head-to-head bet. I got 49ers -14. He has the Cardinals +14. There it is, guys. Thanks for all the support so far this NFL season. We are up almost 5 units on the season, so it's a good start. Let's have a great week. Saturday morning is the NFL player props video. We have been crushing it. I'm probably going to reduce my unit size on those anytime touchdowns, but we're going to still probably have 4, maybe 5 player props that I'm going to like. So be sure to check that out. I'm excited. Baseball playoffs are right around the corner too, so we got a lot going on. Hit that like button, subscribe if you're new to the channel. Thanks again. I hope everyone has a great Thursday, and we'll talk to you later.